Hello again. So, I wasn't really sure what I was going to talk about today, and I think I'll tell you what happened the other day when I went to the doctors, because I went to the doctors to go and get a blood test to go and see what my vitamin D levels are like, because we need vitamin D in order to protect ourselves from a lot of chronic illnesses, and it's something that I've been doing a bit of research about lately, and I realised that although I supplement with vitamin D3, I don't actually know where my levels are at. So if I'm supplementing to achieve the right levels, I kind of need to know where they are. So I went to the doctors, and that was quite interesting, because she said she was a bit sceptical and kind of like, why do you want it? You haven't got any aches or pains? I'm like, well, no, but I need to, kind of explain to her why I wanted it, and why it was sort of like prevention rather than trying to treat something that had already gone wrong. And that in fact I was trying to help by getting them tested, so that I didn't have to come back to her and go and see her with something. So I think that was obviously a bit out of the norm for her. So anyway, so she did agree to it in the end, but I said that it had to be the right test though, because I wasn't interested in having, because I'd been researching it, I knew that I had to get a 25 hydroxy vitamin D test, because that was the most reliable, and I knew where my level should be at for that particular test. So she said, I can only tick the box to say I want to get your vitamin D levels checked. I was like, oh, okay. So I left there and handed my form in and made an appointment to get the blood test done. And then I left, and I thought, oh, hang on a minute, because I don't actually know that when I go back and get my blood tested that I'm actually definitely getting the test that I want. So I had to phone her up and say, remember I came in earlier and we had this chat, and I said that I really needed that specific test done. She said yes. Well, I was like, well, I just still don't know that I'm getting that done, and that's the only test that I want doing. So she said, but we're testing your vitamin D levels. I said, yeah, I know, but I need to know you're testing them in the way that I want them tested. She said, you know this is the NHS, and I said, I know, but I said, if you can't do it, that's fine, I'll go somewhere else that can, but I don't want to waste my time coming in getting a 150 test done when I want a 25 hydroxy D test, because that's the best one. So she said, well, the only way I'm going to know is to phone up the lab and ask them what test they do. And I said, oh, would you do that? And she said, oh, okay, I'll phone you back. So anyway, so she phoned up the lab, and then she came back and she said, yes, it is that one. I said, it's definitely not the 150 one. She's like, no, Kelly, it's definitely this one. And I was like, thank you. So it took a bit of effort, and I had the test on Monday, and they still haven't got the results back yet. But so I'll see what they come out as. But so yeah, I thought it was kind of an interesting little story, just because I suppose sometimes you just have to be clear about what you want, and really just I think a while back I maybe would have just gone, oh well, they're testing them and it doesn't really matter, I'm getting them tested. But I thought, actually, I won't be clear on my result if I don't actually be clear on what I'm asking for. So I think the moral of this little story today is actually know what you want and be clear when you're asking for it, because otherwise you could end up with anything. And I suppose that relates to goals and life really in general. If you don't know what you're asking for, then you don't know what you're going to get. So yeah, that's my thought of the day. See you tomorrow.